Boom, snap, just like that. 72 episodes of the Wheelhouse podcast. My name's Joel Spreadborough, back to share the love with you once again, joined by the one and only Katerina Barthez. Hello.
Oh, good to be here. I mean, I've got my headphones on, so you can't see that I'm wearing llama Christmas earrings. But ho, 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 let's be merry. I am in the giving season, Joel.
Aren't you just?
I am.
I saw the earrings before you covered them, before you cupped them.
Yes.
They're very good.
Well, I have been saying to pretty much everybody, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And a couple of delivery men have said, it's a bit early for that, love. To which I say no. December 1 has passed. Get in the spirit.
It is time. 'Tis the reason.
I say that to you too, Joel. Get in the spirit.
I'm wearing my Wheelhouse Christmas shirt. It's red and white,
it's red.
like Santy.
It is. Now, get in the spirit. We've still got bikebug.com sitting here on our beautiful monitor.
We sure do. Code Wheelhouse for 10% off. So that's Wheelhouse, all one word, all lowercase. 10% off an extensive and impressive range of cycling kit, I think.
Ho, ho.
If you have someone who's craving the two-wheeled science in their Santa stocking, you could do a lot worse than going to see our friends at bikebug.com and grabbing that 10%, I reckon. So,
Indeed.
Merry Christmas to one and all. It's a little bit early, but
oh,
never
no.
too early.
I'm going to be banging that drum all month.
A lot
Joel.
of gifts coming your way on episode 72. We're going to talk about ageless warriors. We're going to talk about poo-coloured shorts, to poo or not to poo. Some big ins for the Tour Down Under, and Aussies lighting it up domestically as well and showing the home fans what they can do. Cobbles also becoming the source of a global apology. Looking forward to diving into that. And as we like to say here, much, much more. Let's do it, Kate. Dun, 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 dun. Now, we talk a lot on this show about your incredible career, and I've been pushing you a lot for a long time, not literally, about making a comeback. And you've been taunting me in recent weeks with these little hints here and there of, I might be doing this. Scott McGrory might be doing that. I've bought my medals in, for example.
I've been taunting you.
These ideas swirling around in my mind. So much so that I bought my medal in today. That's my participation medal for the Tour de Brisbane, which I'd like to say I completed at 37 years of age, Kate.
Excellent. We did it as a team Wheelhouse. We even had the small team members, Tom and Millie, came with us.
We did indeed.
As well. They're helping in the studio today.
I want to give a shout out to Tom, I believe in the bunker within a bunker today, helping out his dad, Merksy. G'day, Tom and Merksy.
We're ready, raring to go. Ho, ho, ho.
Junior producer. School
go.
holidays.
Ho, ho, ho. Look, the reason for this elongated monologue is because I was 38. You did it pretty easily. You can make a comeback. Age is no barrier in cycling, in many sports. Well, I would disagree. But as far as Oscar Sevilla is concerned, 47 years of age is not a bad age to make a call of, you know what, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to sign up and continue racing my bike.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, the Spanish Colombian, he used to ride on T-Mobile. I remember that era. But he rode for many of the world's biggest teams at World Tour level before it was World Tour. But that level, he's a tranche down now, but still out there racing. 26 seasons. It's quite remarkable.
It is, yeah.
I mean, I must say, without, being judgy, let's not put on our judgy pants before Christmas, but does he not have anything else he wants to do with his life? Or, I don't know. Is that harsh? Is that really harsh?
Because you've been part of that sport for so long and you've been, I guess, in that bubble, in a sense, is that fear. You know what I'm going to call it? The Shawshank Redemption Protocol.
Oh.
When you were so used to it, you're so institutionalized within that body of work that you'd look at the outside world and go, me, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I want to keep riding as long as I'm able.
If you can, after 26 years at it, if you can still keep doing it and being paid to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
I say
why
power
not?
to him. He must have the world's best chamois. Let's be honest.
I was just going to say something to that end, yes.
Oh, what a chamois.
Probably
what
less
chamois.
classy.
You know, it'd be really funny if you spoke to him and he goes, this... Still using the chamois I rode in my first pro race 26 years ago.
Look, slight diversion, but I believe that in the, good old days, and we're talking the early days of the Tour de France.
Yeah.
chamois didn't necessarily exist.
Oh.
Steak is what they used to put down their trunks.
A what?
Steak, like a big beef
Oh,
steak.
an actual steak.
An actual
yeah, okay.
steak.
Okay. For a minute, I thought you meant like the vampire kind of steak. And I was like, what? What would that do?
Like, and then they, tenderized it through the ride and cooked it for dinner.
Don't.
No, I made that
You
part
can't
up.
go saying things like this in the bunker cake because I will believe you. I will believe you.
It's fact until you Google it.
Okay.
So,
Merxie's got a comment.
Tom was just wanting you to explain what a chamois is.
Oh, right. Most people think it's the thing you dry a car off with.
It's a bum pillow, Tommy.
It's a bum pillow.
Yeah, essentially. It's a
goes
pillow
inside
for your
the
bum.
nicks. Yeah. The chamois.
I like to
believe
call it the
we
chamois.
called
It essentially protects your bum from when you're riding long on a hard saddle.
Yes.
From causing damage. Sorry. But incredible longevity, Oscar Sevilla. It reminds me of Tom Brady. What was he? Was 43 years old when he won with the Buccaneers.
And I think he did about 23 seasons, didn't he?
Incredible longevity.
What's most impressive, I have to say, about that is the NFL, they take big hits. Like, their bodies are pretty trash.
Yeah.
To get 23 seasons with that kind of knock to your body, that's...
Well, he's a quarterback. He's not meant to cop big hits.
Look, in the theory of the game is that the quarterback doesn't cop big hits, but if 2023 is any example, we have seen 2 or 3 of the biggest stars in the game go down one after the other with like potential career-ending injuries. So when you look at it in that context, it's like this guy's just, he's up there with Sevilla. He really is.
Joel, you've heard what happens when I try and get off the couch. It's a kind of effort.
Yeah.
So based on that, big body blows or not,
Yeah.
to be that competitive at that age, I reckon is pretty
Is
impressive.
Oscar at 47, is that the oldest pro you're familiar with? In cycling
in men.
specifically? In men? Okay.
Johnny Longo went longer in the women.
Yeah.
She was 50, I think, at her last big international competition. But she was a bit of a phenom, and there were some pretty significant rumours about enhancement
Other things.
over the years.
Right.
So I don't know that we would put her in the same bucket, to be honest.
I've got a couple of nominees from other sports quickly because I love longevity in sport. And the idea that you're doing it in an era where you're riding up Mont Ventoux with a steak on your bum and not the technology that you have today, and you're still doing it all these years later, is out of this world. But I want to go to ice hockey,
Oh,
if you don't
right.
mind.
Oh, come on. That's hard on your body.
Oh, brutal. Not that I've played it, but I've watched plenty. It looks awful. And I've seen all the Mighty Ducks movies. It looks absolutely appalling.
Every last one of them. I mean, look at Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding. Like, it's hard. Sorry.
Yes. Poor Nancy.
You were saying?
Gordie Howe was known as Mr. Hockey, okay? He made the All-Star team twice after he turned 40. He played his final game in the NHL, the National Hockey League, at 52, and then he went to one league down and played another season in 1997. Guess how old he was? He played it one more season for the Detroit Vipers. At what age?
60?
69 years old. I'm not joking. 69 years old. That's just
very impressive.
something else entirely, isn't it? Roger Federer, here's another one. Hello, Merxie.
Froomey, he's, 60-something?
Oh,
Surely.
That's harsh.
Froomey. Oh, he's
Well,
up there.
I mean, just quietly, I don't think Froomey will still be racing at that age. Certainly not 69, but even 47.
Yeah.
Given how unhappy the Israel Premier Tech bosses have been about even having to pay him.
Having to pay his
They have a bit of a whinge, say he's not worth the money. So,
Yeah. Oh, I got one more. I love
come on,
these.
on you
Satchel
go.
Paige, baseball player. Now, he was from the segregation era, so there was obviously a league for coloured folk, a league ridiculous. But anyway, he played in that first. Didn't get his shot in the major league until he was 42 years old.
that's persistence.
Isn't it just? Absolutely. Pitched his final game at 59 in the year 1965 and pitched one hit in 3 innings at 59 years of age. When all was said and done, at the end of his career, he had pitched professionally for 40 years.
Imagine that shoulder joint.
I know.
That's remarkable.
Ooh,
Well, we're talking about the longevity there, but on the other side of that, Aussie Jess Allen She's just turned 30. She's just hung up the boots.
Yep.
So farewell to Jess. She's been over a decade in the sport. She was junior world time trial champion way back when, and Australia knew that she was this huge talent. She's gone on to be kind of super domestique. So she's a very popular rider. We'll miss her in the sport. From WA.
Another Westie.
I know. Let's get her a statue.
Oh.
Put her on the list.
We're going to
Top
have
of the list.
like a pantheon. It's not going to be more than just a statue. It's going to be like we're going to need to build a big acropolis here and get them all happening because this is getting ridiculous.
We are.
I have a bit to say on that. I'm going to tee off in a good way about our love of Western Australia very soon. Before we do, we're going to get into some excellent local Aussie news, some movings and shakings. But you've been busy. I just want to give a quick mention. You're well nourished today. You've been out supporting a wonderful organisation at a breakfast snooze fest, I believe.
Yes, well, we went to this morning a breakfast, Merxie and I, for the Martyr Foundation here in Brisbane. And one of their really big achievements every year, but particularly this year, has been the incredible amount of money they've raised using cycling as the vehicle for change and empowerment. It's incredible. So they've got Brisbane to Gold Coast. They've got Smiling for Smitty. It's pretty powerful, I've got to say, Joel. They got up and they told the stories from survivors and from family members. And it just got me thinking, like, isn't cycling just so wonderful and cool in that way that wherever you turn, cycling is the vehicle. It's really cool.
And
I love it.
people want to use it as that vehicle. People that can make a difference. It lends itself. That community, that group, that feel is so conducive to support and assistance. It really is.
It is. I love it. But they were talking about riding. I think one of their rides they did 1,900 kilometres in 6 days, and I thought.
You'd need a good thick rump steak for that one, wouldn't you?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought, somebody get me a rump for my rump.
Yes.
No, I did think over the summer, it's of course summer in Australia for Christmas, I think I need to get back on the bike. I think I need to do a few more Ks.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's what it had me thinking.
getting you back for getting more Ks to...
Yeah. No, come back.
Okay.
No, just to, get on the bike more.
We'll see. We'll see. See, this is what I mean. You're dropping these little hints once again. Nothing to see here, says Kate. But look, good on you for getting out supporting incredible causes once again.
Great breakfast too.
Good breakfast.
Yeah.
That's good.
They made it easy to support them, I must say.
Okay.
No,
great.
we had a great morning, so.
Lovely. This is the Wheelhouse Podcast, episode 72. Let's get into Aussie Watch. Now, we speak a lot about Caleb Ewan and a upsy-downsy, topsy-turvy couple of years for our favourite Wollongongian. Barralian, I should say.
Yeah.
Look, he's from the region. Like,
Yes.
Why don't we just say a South
Southern
Coastian?
Highlands, yes.
Southern Highlandian. There you go. There we got there eventually. Looking good for Giro.
Well,
but there's a
yeah.
but here.
There is a but.
And I don't know how I feel about this but, Kate.
I do.
All right, help me.
Not as good as Oscar Sevilla's butt after sitting on a rump steak, I'll tell you that. It's
That's saying something, it really
he
is.
went to, so of course we were wondering about Caleb's future and everybody was kind of throwing around, won't he retire? No, he's not. He's off to Jaco Alula. I wouldn't say they rescued him. I would say that he needed to come home a bit, to community, to Aussies, to be surrounded by that, to find himself again. Now, when he signed up, he did so knowing that Dylan Groenewegen was also on the team and that he's a sprinter with very big ambitions at Tour de France success.
Yep.
And I did immediately think that's some pretty big personalities and some pretty big sprint talent. How are they going to manage that?
I think you said that on this very program.
I think I did.
Yeah.
And now they've announced how they're handling it for at least next season, which is Caleb will do the Giro and Groenewegen will do the Tour. And
so that's a demotion for Caleb, let's be honest. Like,
yeah, look, my gut feeling when I read that was quite disappointment for him.
yeah.
Because I thought, I just have so much faith in him as an athlete and I know what he can do and I just want him to be able to have the chance to shine. And I say that in the context of knowing that Jaco Alula are doing an amazing job supporting him and bringing back his motivation, and it may very well be the best plan for him and he may well be 100% on board with it. I mean, of course he will be in some regard.
Is it them saying you're not quite there yet, Caleb? Well, I'd love to know what Merksy thinks on this.
Does it not make you hungrier, Kate? Like, to get back to the tour?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a mixed bag. Like, depending on the headspace you're in, it can either make you hungrier. Like, I remember some pretty plum conversations with coaches, one in particular that told me that I should probably not bother leaving Australia and should just go to university.
I'd love to have a chat to that coach
rather
now.
than chasing my dream as a cyclist. Now, that motivated me, you know. But there's other conversations you have that are just a bit of a kick in the guts and a reality check that you don't want. So I hope that with that news, they've said, look,
there has to be a pathway.
Yeah, you're coming back, and we're not signing you to never take you to the tour again.
Yeah.
This is just where you've got to start to get back on your feet and prove it to yourself as much as anybody else.
I think there's individual management, there's ego management, there's athlete management to think of here as well. And we've heard Caleb, he's missed out on a few things over the last few years. Let's be honest. He's missed out on a few things due to form, due to injury, due to different things at different times. But when he's missed out due to form, he's been pretty vocal. He's not backward in going forward and telling people that he thinks that it's a bullshit decision. And I think if you're going to do this without mapping out a clear path for him getting back to that apex and saying you're going to get the opportunity to shoot for the stars at the tour again, you just need to build those bricks. If you're not making that super clear, I think possibly the seeds of malcontent can be planted by these kind of calls really early.
To be honest, I think that Caleb, in the nicest way, needs to pull his head in a bit from how brash he has been.
Yep.
And he's a great personality and he's not too big for his boots at all. But I think with that brashness and with that outward and open nature, you fall harder. So the media is harder on you when you've been so forward and outward. And I think he could do with protecting himself a little bit. And I have a feeling, I mean, his management team are amazing. Jason Backer looks after him so well. Make sure he's resilient, like doesn't wrap him in cotton wool, but also make sure that he's treated fairly.
And these are conversations that have happened, obviously.
Oh, yeah. And I mean,
doors.
Jason was such a huge support for him through the whole lotto mess and making sure, you know, and so I think it is a balance that you want to make sure he can be the core of who he can be and not compromise that, but also understand that you're putting yourself out there and those vulnerabilities can be exploited.
Yeah.
So it probably not bad if we see him almost step a little back a little bit, protect himself and re-emerge.
Yeah, look, I like that very much. And we also do, we do know that him at his best, clear mind, clear body, is incredible. And green is not beyond his reach if he can get there. So I'm just saying, I get it. Take a step back. Don't be so brash. But you also have to manage that personality as best you can and make sure that this isn't a punishment. This isn't framed as a demotion.
No.
This is framed as a here's a breadcrumb trail to glory for you. And it
a yellow
sounds
brick
like
road, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw Wicked the musical last week, so I'm all on yellow brick roads. Yeah,
cool. Yeah. Good show. That
it is a great show. It is a great show.
We should do an off-season musical review segment. Why not? Now let's go from the future looking bright to the future still looking bright, but let's go to the other end of the age scale here. So Kat Ferguson, I love. Okay, asking you this probably will backfire on me spectacularly. But what were you doing at 17, Catherine?
Well, at 17, I was riding my bike, but had zero dreams of being in Europe. Like it just wasn't even a pathway for us, really.
Really?
So it's pretty amazing that as a first-year junior, so she's still got another year in juniors, that she will be riding for Movistar. She already knows that, signed on a 3-year deal. They've been talking about this for a while. I mean, they announced it a few months ago, but she's now come out to actually talk about it. Before that, she had stayed in the background a little bit. And she said she's really grateful to the women who have come before her that have made it possible. Yeah. And I suppose that's the big thing, is for them to now be looking at talent in their first year as a junior. So she was 16 when they first identified her. She's only turned 17 after. That's phenomenal.
Isn't it just? Yeah.
But here's the thing. It makes me feel a little bit sad for the Aussies, and it just highlights the different pathways that Australian riders have, because it's not a realistic pathway for a 16-year-old Australian girl to get that exposure and to get those opportunities. And I want to make sure that the Australians continue to have a pathway to development. And, you know, back in my day, we had the most excellent AIS program, like Australian Institute of Sport. We had a women's national team that was over in Europe, and so if you didn't have a professional team, you had a national team, and you got to go to all of the races, and most of them, the Giros would have an Australian national team racing, and it was a way for young Aussies to get that exposure. We don't have that anymore, and so there's this gaping hole of, you know, Aussie junior to World Tour. And you do get some riders who can leap across that gap. You know, Flick Haffenden, we talked about her. She's got a contract with Trek, but she had to be junior world champion as a second-year junior before she got that.
So you say get that exposure, but not only get it, you have to take full advantage and carpe diem and really
I think
stand out.
It's a very, very pointy funnel, talent funnel for the Aussies. So I'm really excited for the women's side of the sport. I just really want Australia to realise that for Aussie women, this puts them back a step, because now teams are full quicker. They've got young riders. They've got their fill of that, and we need to make sure we're getting the athletes out there.
Can I say, and forgive me, I hope I don't say this in ignorance, but is she talking about the likes of yourself, of the Anna Mears and that sort of thing? Is she talking about that echelon, or is she talking more about behind the scenes and coaches and pathway people that are actually opening these doors? Or is she just putting everyone into a giant big cuddle of gratitude?
Giant big bucket. I mean, you know, column A, column B. But realistically, there's still not a lot of female coaches, still not a lot of female managers. And so the pickings are still pretty slim there. But in Britain, she's had some pretty incredible role models with Nicole Cook and Lizzie Armistead pushing so hard for the sport to grow.
Okay.
Laura Kenny is about to go to her 5th Olympics. She's Britain's most successful female Olympian. She's now a mum, and she'll be going back to the Olympics. God. She's like, they're so well supported over there, and there really is momentum for change. And I think that feeling is very strong. She can look back at these generations who've fought pretty hard to get the opportunities that she now almost gets handed, where those who went before her had to struggle and hustle and fight the good fight.
Yeah, that's it. I'm really interested in that question, but as like, you know, the bedroom wall poster versus the one that are actually down there when she's in and around the sport, as opposed to something that she's idolising, looking up to, aspiring to, which is the first example, as opposed to the ones that are actually there in the drome, still doing it when she's young and emerging.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable actually how many athletes, male, female, I'll use Jai Hindley and Ben O'Connor as great examples.
Yeah.
Both of them have said that growing up they were watching Cadel Evans win the tour and race, and he was a big bit of inspo. Like we say the phrase, if you can see it, you can be it, so often referring to the women, and like, let's put more female role models out there so young girls can, but it goes for the men as well. And so, I think it is posters on the wall.
It's interesting.
I mean, the bummer is that when I used to get asked, who do you look up to? I didn't really have many women I could answer with.
Yeah, well, Merksy.
Kate, who was the poster on your wall?
Yes.
I had Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, we had this
moving on
recently, this discussion, and but look, it is a really good point. And I think this year we've seen, I love my other sport parallels, but I reflect on the success of the Matildas. And the Matildas these days, you'd struggle to find a young child that couldn't name at least 2 or 3, let's say even half a dozen starting Matildas easily.
Yeah.
But the ladies who came before and paved that path, we're going back decades. We're going back to self-funded trips to go on tours and play in tournaments overseas, and literally doing raffles and cookie drives and washing cars. Literally, I'm not even kidding.
Yep.
And I don't mean that in like a shitty way. I mean that's literally what.
Oh no,
what
I
was
saw
happening.
Lamingtons.
Lamingtons were a thing.
And I tell you what, sponge cake. You put the cream in, you coat it in chocolate, you coat it in coconut, you box it up. Like,
There you go.
That's intensive labour.
It is intensive labour, but it's that, but that's that blazing that trail and doing all of that thing and that really, really hands-on thing. So they weren't the Sam Kerrs of their generation, but they were laying that path.
Well, it's not a charity anymore. I love it.
Yep.
I love
fantastic.
that the riders don't have to sell lamingtons or cookies or...
Do love a good Lamington.
I do love a good lamington too.
Look, well done to Kat Ferguson. What a career to watch. 17 years old, still juggling all of that teenage-ism and that as well. So, looking forward to seeing that. Now, let's talk about poo on the Wheelhouse podcast. Now, I want to talk about
happy off-season.
Yeah, look, very much happy off-season, because one of the things that I love isn't poo, but it's the poo-coloured shorts, or nicks, I should say, of our men Glutzy's team, AG2R. So Citroen, they're very, very distinctive outfit. The white and the poo brown. It's a signature outfit. It stands out for a reason. It stands out when Glutzy's winning stages at the tour and doing everything that Glutzy does. It just works. It fits. It's just a poo brown that everyone can get around. But apparently, team bosses say, you know what? We're done. It stinks. We don't like it anymore, Kate.
Do you know what stinks? Getting rid of them stinks.
Getting rid of them. It does stink.
When I saw, I had to watch the video a couple of times. I was like,
no,
they can't be.
Is
They
this
cannot
a Christmas prank?
I know, my heavens. And then I saw in the Twitterverse, Sophie Smith said, "Bring back the brown nicks." That's all. I thought, I'm not alone here, and I wasn't. By overwhelming majority, the fans are not happy.
Okay.
And I thought the poo brown nicks were hideous. Would I ever buy them? No way.
You wouldn't
no,
do
thank
the poo
you.
brown?
Oh, no, hideous. However, I cannot believe they've gotten rid of them. It was
I'm
iconic.
shocked.
I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine? You're not a Parramatta Eels fan, but can you imagine if the Parramatta Eels or Parramatta Cycling Club all of a sudden said, blue and gold, no more. We're going orange and green. Oh my goodness. Like LA Lakers, what if they came out and said, let's go like brown and white? No.
Brown and
Mercy.
white Lakers. What do you think,
I
Mercy?
just want to ask, if you had to pick, is a white set of nicks for a race or a brown set of nicks? What are you going with?
Oh, brown every time.
Fair question.
Because otherwise you run the risk of the white ones becoming brown, and that's definitely worse. From mud, Joel. From mud.
Yeah, I'm so glad you clarified that. I'm so glad you cleared that one up. Yeah, look, no, it serves a functional purpose as well as everything else. But you know what? I'm sitting here right now. This is a tour guide from last year. Okay, what makes the cover? Of course, the Mayo Jordan. Of course, it does. What's second on the cover? Poo brown nicks. I'm sorry, forget about the rider. Irrelevant.
I was about to say, I'd probably look at that and say that's Glutzy O'Connor, but you are looking at the poo brown nicks.
I'm looking at the poo brown nicks.
But they are iconic. It was part of it. I understand they're rebranding a bit. Decathlon's coming on as a big sponsor. Maybe that's the question. Are they changing their kit up because Decathlon is a retailer? They want to push the merch, and they know that if they're selling brown nicks, they won't rush out the door. If they're selling black nicks, they might get a few more sales.
Just forget about
Is
it.
this economics?
I remember when the Brisbane Broncos went turquoise in the early 90s for a very brief period. They had an away strip that was very much like turquoise.
Is
and
that
white?
turquoise?
Turquoise? That's not a colour. It's
Turquoise?
like blue, aquary blue.
Maybe turquoise.
Turquoise, is it? I thought it was turquoise.
It is actually spelt talk, but
Is it turquoise?
turquoise.
I've been saying turquoise all my life.
Hold it. So we're talking like the aquamarine
Yeah, is
blue
it
colour.
turquoise?
Turquoise.
Okay, well, from now on.
What do you mean they went?
They did. They had a
turquoise?
full, apparently, turquoise strip. Not even kidding. You look it up. And
Why?
fans were polarised.
Despondent.
Right down the middle.
Cranky.
They did it again this year. They brought out a city jersey. And it's very shrewd to bring it out at a given time because they're like, yeah, it's our city. The Dolphins have come in. Bugger the Dolphins. Here's a city jersey. They would have made an absolute fortune from selling it. Merksy, you had a controversial strip example before. They made an absolute bucket of money. Of course, the New South Wales Blues. Yeah, in the Origin. They went from the full sky blue to the dark blue kit, and everyone's going, oh, this is absolutely ridiculous. I'll take two, please.
I did not like it. I did not buy any.
You didn't buy any,
No.
despite being a staunch blue.
Did not buy any.
Okay.
How dare they change it like that?
Well, anyway,
Have some respect.
back to the
Happy off
brown.
season.
Like, this is
The meandering conversations.
hashtag bring back the brown.
Hey, now, speaking of Galuzzi O'Connor, who is on the cover of that Ride magazine
Yes.
over there, I believe you put him on a
He
list
made a
this
list.
week.
He
Tell
did
me
make a
about
list,
that,
and
please.
I want him. If you're listening, Glutzy, can you please get behind this "Bring Back the Brown" campaign that we're sort of kind of
Hashtag.
starting? Hashtag Bring Back the Brown. Don't poo the poo.
BBTB.
Yeah, there you go. Bring back the brown. Yes,
Catchy.
I absolutely. I made my end of year list for ESPN of the 25 currently active, what I think are the most influential moving forward, and he snuck in. He snuck into that list from the noble sport of cycling because of not only his achievements but his merit as a guy that everyone wants to be around. He has a guy that has an infectious energy, and his teammates seem to absolutely love him. He rolls with the punches. He takes decisions that aren't necessarily the best for him personally, but are the best for the team. And he's putting cycling, not just cycling, but cycling in WA. Like there's a reason that there's this massive campaign going on for there to be a statue of his bum made, because I think he's fantastic. But I put him up with 25 other
There you go.
athletes that are playing in Australia, all over the world, different sports, and he's flying the flag for bikes. I think for good reason. I might be wrong. What do you think?
I love it, Merksy.
You penned it for ESPN. Who was number one?
It
I was gonna ask
wasn't
that.
ranked. It was just a collection of 25. So now it'll go out to all of the people who consume the content, and they'll vote, and we'll get a final list up and going.
All
But,
right, well, hold on. There is a campaign for us to run.
yeah, it
Get
is.
behind
Vote
the glutes.
people. Get behind the glutes.
Vote glutes.
Get behind the glutes.
Get behind the glutes.
That's.
The GTG campaign.
I
No,
don't-
hang on.
No, that's-
GBTG. There you go.
I don't know. That's our most thought out.
What colour should
slogan.
our campaign slogan be? What do you reckon? What do you think of turquoise?
Perfect.
Does that work?
Turquoise and brown would be
Turquoise.
beautiful.
Ridiculous.
What? Just give me one other athlete that was on there.
Joe Ingles, Josh Giddey,
Oh.
despite some current controversy, Josh Giddey in the NBA, aside from controversial, has been absolutely lighting it up.
He's in good company. then.
NRL, I had to put Nathan Cleary as an extremely influential, but I put
Yes.
Reece Walsh in there as well from
Yep.
the Brisbane Broncos just for his incredible future. Based on the Cricket World Cup, Glenn Maxwell got a nod. Travis Head got a nod because of he is just becoming that David Boone sort of character in Australian cricket. It's beyond his incredible performances. He's becoming that Bogan that we all absolutely love. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
Jordan Maata, obviously in the NFL, doing incredible things. I got him on there.
We've got a great list.
It's a good list.
Get
I tell
behind
you what,
Glutzy, though.
it's a valuable list. I can tell you that much. Some of the earnings on it are just absolutely dizzying, out of this world. A collection of AFL players made it. Of course, a selection of Matildas as well are on that list.
Excellent.
Sammy Kerr and the like. Grace Harris from the Brisbane Heat, who I think has had an incredible year and is just lighting it up. Get her back in the Australian team.
Listen, if you could put international cyclists on the list, do you think Mr. Alaphilippe might get a run?
I would put Lulu at the top. You know I would put it. I
Put
love
Lulu
Lulu.
at the top. Have you
And
heard the news?
Of course, I'm very excited.
heard the
Do you want
news?
would you like to? We're not breaking it. We're not a
We're
news
not
service,
breaking
but
it,
let's
no.
talk about the news that's out.
Yes, Julian Alaphilippe, he's going to the Tour Down Under, Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Returning to. He started his world tour career at the Tour Down Under in 2014. He's coming back now.
He
I
loves
was
it.
very excited. Merksy, you were very excited too. Yes?
Big news.
Big
I can't
news.
wait to see him. He's possibly coming on the show.
Watch this space.
We've
right?
we've reached out.
We've
yes, we
reached
have
out.
reached out.
Now,
Did we send that email in French? Is he-
I sent it to
We-
Patrick Lefevre.
Oh,
who,
good.
good.
Yeah, he hasn't replied, but we'll see.
he loves the show. Yeah,
look,
so it'll be
I'm
fine.
just quietly hoping that Mr. Lefevre gets stopped coming through immigration if he decides to come. But anyway, it's not about him, not about Paddy.
Guys, we just got a reply. He won't be coming on the show.
Oh.
He's not coming on the show. Okay, that's fine.
That's
Let's
a
plan
shame.
around that.
Now, Jay Vine's coming back, which is great as well.
Excellent.
But Alaphilippe, now, he made a little promo video for the Tour Down Under to say, I'm coming back. I'm announcing that I'm back. And I got to say, it's the most lackluster enthusiasm.
Oh, really?
I don't know if something was lost in translation, but it accounted to... I'll do my best here without the French accent. We don't do accents. At least I'm going to try not to. I'm very happy to be returning to the Tour Down Under.
Oh,
It is one of my favourite races, and I am thrilled. It's on our socials. You've got to check the video out. It's almost a parody. It's very funny, but I'm excited that he's coming, even if he didn't seem too thrilled in his video.
he can barely contain his enthusiasm.
Yes,
for
but
that.
it is. I
Okay.
mean, the fans are going to go bananas.
Yeah, it's massive.
But it did occur to me that if you haven't seen a lot of the athletes in person, you're often a little bit shocked by their stature. For example, to this day, a lot of people are shocked at how tightly packed, how small Robbie McEwen is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Caleb, you can tell Caleb's a littler fella because you can see it on the bike. But
Yeah.
Robbie, like you watch his salutes at the Tour de France and he looks like quite a big fella. Julian Alaphilippe is tiny.
Not a big unit, no.
He's tiny, petite.
Looks big because he loves to pop a few buttons and get some chest
Yeah,
out,
but I reckon people will be a little bit taken aback.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Merksy?
I'm just getting over tightly packed. But I did have a question or a statement. I
Sorry,
reckon
Robbie.
he's going to win on Wollonga.
Well, he did say he was looking forward to Wollonga, and he did say Mount Lofty, and he's kind of without contention going to be the best climber there.
Okay.
But you know what he doesn't have? He doesn't have the summer in Australia to
No,
get
I
ready
was
for it.
just
Do you
about
know
to
who
say.
does? Jay Vine does.
Yep.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
I love what you're doing here.
Yeah.
He's got a little goatee. I love the goatee.
He does
Vine
have a
and
little
Lulu.
goatee.
Acclimatisation is everything when you're going into mid-30s with that 1,000,000%
Are you talking
humidity.
age? Because I definitely found I struggled with the heat in my mid-30s, Joel.
Goodness me. Look, it'll be a showdown for the ages. We
It will
can't
be.
wait.
It will be very good.
Hopefully we'll be there to push Jay Vine along again as well. Now, Amanda Spratt, Grace Brown, also Spratty
Yes.
blue shoes, or Spratty insert colour of shoes here as well, which is exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah, the women's race looks like it's going to be pretty packed with talent.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's something different about this summer in Australia heading into an Olympic year, especially predominantly for the women. The Aussie Summers played a more important role in selection for the Olympics. And in women's cycling, it's pretty well known that the Olympics plays a bigger role for them than it does for the men.
Yeah.
And so talk about like the Aussies on fire in summer. I reckon Tour Down Under for the women is going to be a bit of an Aussie fest. I mean, it always has been to a degree, but I think this year more than ever
Okay.
is my prediction that we'll have a clean podium sweep of Aussies.
So we've got
Putting
Vine
it out there
pipping
early.
Lulu in the men's, and we've got a Aussie, just all Aussie in
Yep.
the women's. Okay, great. Tips are in. Now,
Yep.
a question for you. What's going on with Campagnolo?
Well, it does link to what we were just talking about with AG2R because their announcement of their horrendous new kit and their equipment for the year revealed that for the first time in 70 years, there is no World Tour team, no pro team on Campagnolo.
In 77 decades of racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
Is it a financial? Is it like a?
I don't know. Times are changing, I suppose. But in my day growing up, I've said in my day too many times today, Campag was like the bee's knees and a record group set. In fact, I've still got a couple of group sets in my garage from my dad who had a couple of these beautiful record. That was, the name of the group set, which is a bit catchier than Dura Ace or Ultegra, like record. It's beautiful. It was the bee's knees. But I don't know what's happening over in Italy, but it seems like their Shimano and SRAM are really kind of upping the ante and they're stepping back a little bit.
Okay.
And, I mean, it may be that they're going more into the classic market, or like a classic car. Like you can't beat it. It is the best, but they don't need to be
They've got that
racing
vintage.
Formula One
Yep.
to align with what they're trying to produce.
Okay. They don't have to do a Ferrari.
No, but it's a really noticeable change.
It's 7 decades is a long time, but there is in darkness is opportunity, like you say, to trade on that history. But
I know. I'm going to pop Robbie's old stuff on eBay now too. It's going to be worth a bomb.
fantastic. There you go. Downloaded any new apps lately, Kate?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Joel.
you.
Actually,
Yeah, it's completely
very
spontaneous.
very excited. One of the projects and businesses I'm involved with, Chicks Who Ride Bikes, we've talked about it before. I love it. It's a women's cycling community.
Amazing.
We've been funded to create an app, and we've built this amazing app that's called Llama. And it's called Llama because llamas are social and intelligent and they communicate really well. And we, Jordana Blackman and I, who run it together, thought they're pretty cool attributes to be involved in. So go the llamas. And
Spirit
they're really,
animals,
really cute, let's be honest. And so we've been given this opportunity to build an app that's essentially a home for all things women's cycling.
Awesome.
So a community where you can get on it's almost like Facebook a bit, where you can get on and have a chat, but in the back end it's got all the resources and videos and all that sort of stuff. And you can ask all of the questions like, if I can't find a steak, what can I put down my shorts to stop my bum hurting when I'm riding?
Bum pillow.
Yeah, like the really important stuff like that.
Yeah. Are you going to be recording some videos? You mentioned videos.
Yeah, well, we've got some videos on there. There won't be any videos about steak in
No, but like a track stand demonstration, for
example.
example.
Well, so we've got mini goats coming and llamas coming, Joel.
Okay.
To do yoga because
awesome.
Why wouldn't you?
To the launch this is.
Yes,
right?
to the launch. But I also thought that I'm kind of challenging anybody who wants to learn how to do a track stand.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring the bikes and get a lesson on.
Oh, are you? You're going to do a live lesson?
Yep. We're going to do a bit of a project because we're getting the project is coming. It's very exciting.
Nice.
So we're going to have Georgie Tunney there
Yep.
with us doing the goat yoga as well. And I'm going to be teaching her how to do a track stand. Watch this space.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
When and where? What are we
so
talking?
it's at Orley Park in Brisbane from 6 a.m. on Sunday.
6 a.m. this Sunday, Orley Park,
The 10th
Brisbane. Be there. Goats,
Yes.
llamas, baits doing track stands. And in fact, look, this app, it's really, really good. And I'll give a quick mention. My wife, Lee, is even newer to the sport than I am. And finding out about this community and very tentatively tapping in has assured her that, wait a sec, there is a safe and beneficial space out there to get involved and to not be daunted by what we've spoken about on this show a lot.
It is very cool. Early on in our podcasting days, we were chatting about one of the ladies there, Kathy Peel.
Yeah.
And Kathy has had quite an incredible health journey and was unable to ride for a little while. And the community actually raised enough money to buy this beautiful e-bike to help her with her mobility. It's
awesome.
It's a really great community. It's not just about the actual riding part. It's about life around riding your bike. So
Kathy Peel is
cool.
one of the best in human traffic cyclers I've ever seen.
We love Kathy.
She's not does not hold back. I'm on your left, on your right,
Yes.
on your right now, please. I'm on your left. It is excellent.
Yes.
It's excellent.
Yes.
And people riding with her are like, you know what? You can be that. You can be confident. You can be like, excuse me, I'm gonna run over you if you don't just take a step to your right now.
She's
Kathy.
fantastic, and it's cool to have a community, full of those sorts of people. Because let's be honest, most of the people in our wheelhouse community are not professional athletes.
Yeah.
Some of them are, and hello to our friends who are, but for the most part, they're people who share a passion about riding bikes, talking about bikes, hearing about bikes, that sort of stuff. And
about that apparently niche sport called cycling.
Niche schmeesh.
Niche
that
schmeesh.
didn't come out nearly as smoothly as I
No,
hoped.
look, it didn't, but it looked awesome. The Llama app
So
event
get on
happening this Sunday. Now, Mark Cavendish, speaking of niche, Mark Cavendish. So what did they pay him? What did Astana offer him? Do you know what his contract was worth?
7 mini goats and a llama.
A llama. Okay, so they threw the llama in. That's the bonus if he gets the
That
Merckx
was the
record.
signing bonus.
Yeah,
yes,
great.
yes. Well, we try not to mention him too much because he's in the news so much that we
try
can't
not
help
to.
it.
Good luck.
But they want him to. They're trying to convince him to stay. Are they trying to get him to go to 26 seasons? I don't know.
That's very funny because we were talking about this recently and the idea of if he gets that record and if it happens, does he mic drop? Does he mic drop and say, I'm done, I'm out, I'm quitting the tour because I did what I came here for? And the consensus when we spoke about that was kind of like, maybe he would. And Astana's here going, no, not only will that not happen, he will then want to ride on for X amount of years after that. That's what we're banking on happening.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit unrealistic.
I don't know. Yeah, I think given the way he announced it, it wasn't like I've had a great career and it was like I've had a great career, but my family have given up so much and I want to spend more time with the kids and I want to do that. So
I'm going to retire for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yes.
so if he came back for 10 years, that would be odd.
Hello, Moxie.
Maybe his wife didn't like him being at home so much.
Possibly.
Could be that,
Maybe
yeah.
Peter Todd was like, "Oh, honey, that was so sweet of you, but you didn't need to."
You don't need. We
You
spoke
don't
about it.
need
Okay,
to.
top of the show. Oscar obviously going on for season number 26, and that sobering realization that life off the bike maybe isn't as exciting.
Do you
and
think
full of
Oscar's
exploit
wife
fun.
said,
"Keep going, mate"?
"Found a contract for you, honey"?
I know you got a bad hammy, but you know what? If anyone can push through that pain, it's you, sweetheart. I'm just saying. I think Cav had that brief time and thought about the family and thought about all that, but then looked at that gaping void and went,
Yeah.
"Nah, I'm getting back on the bike." So who knows? Maybe they could throw him a Kyle and Jackie O style 10-year deal, $200 million over 10 years.
I'd
That's what
come
they-
out of
yeah.
retirement for that.
That would work for me too.
Yeah.
That would work for me too. Look, watch this space, and you guarantee if it happens, we'll cover it here on the Wheelhouse because we have a no cav policy, except when he's in the news. So you can work that policy out for
Yeah.
yourself because it doesn't really work. Now, cobbles to cobble or not to cobble, Catherine? I was about to swear. I love this swear word because cobbles, like, incredibly intimidating. And watching the riders navigate cobbles is intimidating. And my thought would be most riders would be like, "Gee whiz, I know the fans love it, but I'd love them not to be there sometimes."
I love cobbles. I loved racing on cobbles because I found it easier than a lot of my competitors, and so for me it was almost the easier
You
part of the
thrived
race.
on the cobbles.
Oh, I love it. I love the idea of it. There wasn't a Paris-Roubaix when I raced, but geez, I wish there was.
Yeah.
Now, that said, I saw a headline this week, Joel. Organiser justifies leaving cobbles out of the Tour de France. And I went, hold the phone. Since when have they been justifying leaving out the cobbles?
Exactly.
I was like, the world's gone mad.
I'm so sorry.
They should be explaining why they're in,
Yeah.
not justifying why they're out.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We're depriving you of this very dangerous and this terrain that slows down the race and puts riders in grave
Well,
peril.
Not that long ago, we were discussing the outrage, Joel, over the gravel.
It was outrage.
It was
too.
over the tour stages.
I was incandescent with rage.
Saying and the riders were outraged.
Yes.
Saying this is ridiculous, like you're turning our sport into a mockery. Gravel racing is a discipline on its own. And I mean, is it because it's off season? Like a journo is a bit bored?
Well,
They're like, do you know what else to ask him? Nah, ask him about the cobbles. Good one.
yeah, but how do you really feel about the cobbles? No. How do you search your feelings?
Yes.
How do you, and then they finally got, well, we're sorry. There we go. There's a story. He said
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't know.
Okay, let's turn it into a global apology. Look, cobbles out. There you go. That's the story as well. Justified leaving cobbles out of the Tour de France next year.
Happy off season.
I just spiked the microphones in
You
shock.
did.
Hello, Merxie.
I believe it's because they couldn't get the goats to eat the grass between the cobbles because they're going to be at yoga
Because
with
they're
chicks
gonna
who ride
be-
bikes.
That's right. And I am going to post a photo, if not video, on our socials of me doing a downward dog with a goat on my back.
Oh, heavens.
That is my promise.
Is that on the Wheelhouse socials?
It will be.
It will be.
It hasn't
Damn
happened
right it
yet,
will
Joel.
be.
It will be.
So sorry.
yeah.
It hasn't happened
No,
yet.
I mean
okay.
that's mini goats on the weekend.
Right.
Yes, at the
Okay.
Llama launch.
Tom just said, "What's a downward
Right.
dog, Dad?"
It's
Fair question,
It
Tommy.
is a yoga move.
It's a yoga pose. It's
Yeah.
a yoga pose. Not requiring bum pillows most of the time. So
No
this is
steak.
this is really exciting. No cobbles. We'll process that. We'll cover that as that story continues.
Yes.
It's a developing story at the
Yep.
moment here in the Wheelhouse
Yep.
Bunker, but we will stay across it as we do most things.
The
Now,
important stuff.
do you like Christmas carols?
Love Christmas carols.
Primoz the snowman was a very ill-tempered beast. He went onto the slopes and everyone got very excited. Why is everyone so pumped? Because Roglic is going to the snow.
I
Who
was
cares?
just really hoping you weren't going to rhyme beast and yeast there. I didn't know how you'd do that.
No, I
Uh,
abandoned it.
Primoz he's gone back to the snow. He's strapped his skis on, and he's gone up into the mountains. The fans
Is he doing? Is
gone
he jumping?
wild.
Is he doing his thing?
No, he's just
well.
scooching around on his cross-country
So
skis.
he's gone on a holiday.
Yeah,
and he's
training
broken the
holiday.
internet.
But it's interesting that people love seeing him in the snow. We went through a phase where people were like, especially to commentators, are you going to keep mentioning after so long that he was a ski jumper? And I was like, hell yes, we
Absolutely.
are. Because that is a unique and interesting fact about him.
It is
that you
unique for
cannot
so many
change.
reasons. It is unique because it is one of the most dangerous, death-defying, injury-prone sports on the planet. And he it wasn't enough for him. It didn't do it for him.
And his son on the podium does the little ski jump, right? So they keep bringing it up. We're going to keep bringing
There's
it
a
up.
lot of symmetry
But yeah, the
here,
fans,
guys.
they just love it.
Yeah.
So, I think that, I don't know, like maybe he was shooting a calendar or something for his fans up there in the snow. I don't know.
Primoz,
It's
Mr.
popular.
March. Okay. This is what I call my panther pose when I wear my cycling outfit with all the tears out of it because I fall off so much.
Hey,
and
look,
I
there
love
is a
it.
Netflix Christmas special
Yeah.
in that alone.
It's just called Pain Inc.
I'm
'cause,
telling
like,
you, I've been, my mother and I make our way as a yearly tradition through all of the Christmas specials we can find. Oh, I tell you what, some of them are bad.
What genre? Like any
bad.
genre? Are you talking?
Or like Christmas movies, just like the genre on its own, Christmas movies. And I can tell you that Primoz in the Snow would immediately go pretty close to the top of the list.
Yeah. Because he's like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, because every time he comes out looking like he's wrestled a bear and lived to tell the tale. And
Every
that's
time.
why we love him. That's why him merely going to the snow,
yeah,
massive.
sends people wild.
doesn't it? Okay.
All right.
Let's get back to Australians because ahead of the Tour Down Under, we've been talking about Lulu coming and maybe popping a few buttons, getting that chest out is what he loves to do. But he'll need to. He'll need to because he'll be up against some quality Aussies who are acclimatising in very, very hot and painful conditions at the moment. So let's talk about the likes of Lucas Plappy, the Plap Trap, Sarah Gigante as well, who are out there just looking bright. How's that?
Oh,
Future's looking bright, Kate.
at the Tour of Bright. I
Yeah,
see
do
what
you
you've
like
done
that?
there.
Yeah.
They both won up Mount Buffalo and won the GC at the Tour of Bright. Now, it's a race that has been known to talent ID our climbers, and it was amazing to see them there. Plappy looked amazing in his Aussie champion get-up, and it'll be, one of the last times we see him in that before the Nationals in early 2024.
Unless he refuses to surrender it.
Which wouldn't, Gracie Elvin went back-to-back there. So it could happen, definitely. Amanda Spratt's done the same. He looked so fit, but kind of more internet melting down was Sarah Gigante.
Okay.
Because she's been injured, 23-year-old. She really rose to prominence and then really had some injury and health woes over the years. But she had a bit of a cult following on the internet from South America. And so the internet goes wild when they see her.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding or
So it's like
exaggerating.
Primoz at the snow.
Like she's got fan accounts and most of them in South America,
In
I
South
might
America?
add. Yeah. Oof. Anyway, she was back and she was smashing it and she had a very big smile on her face. And I, for one, am very glad to see her back, as is the Couch Peloton. They were pretty bananas. And then I've got to say I was also very happy because I got a screenshot this morning from Jordana at Chicks Who Ride Bikes / Llama saying, is she related to Sarah? And what it was Kerry Gigante, Sarah's mother, had just bought a T-shirt with a llama on it that says every day is leg day, but leg day, like double L, like
Double
llama.
L leg day.
So,
That's hilarious.
Look at that. I said that is her mum.
You got to snap that up. And
So
that's a stocking filler shirt.
What I've got to say is I'm really, really sorry, Kerry, if I just ruined your Christmas surprise
I didn't even think. Oh, Kate.
for Sarah.
Oh, no.
I'm very sorry.
Surprise. Merry
But hold on,
Christmas.
if I did, we'll replace it with I don't know what, but I apologise in advance. I didn't think about
what have we got here? Here. Here you go. We'll replace it with a world championship. Actually, is that okay? Can we give those away?
I don't.
No.
Maybe give it the Boy Racer Mark Cavendish book.
Okay. Okay, there you go. A signed copy of Boy Racer,
Yes.
signed by Merckx.
But we're very happy to see the Gigante family
Absolutely.
back in action. I mean,
Now-
just quietly, Kerry Gigante, her mum, would beat me up any climb, any day.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Can ride.
Can ride.
Okay.
Every day is leg day.
And on the way down?
Can ride down.
Can
too.
ride down. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Now, training hard, acclimatising, doing what they can. And the good thing about it is when you go out, you're preparing for these tours, you do the real athletes take their training very seriously, and every inch of that training ride is treated as though it's the day, the actual race. In most cases, Kate, sometimes there's a car or a lorry driving ahead, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab onto this and give my legs a little rest for 5 or 10 kilometres if I can.
Okay, so when I was training in Italy and the Netherlands, very often I was on these narrow farm roads where you couldn't get past vehicles.
Yeah.
And on more than one occasion, I got stuck behind a hay truck, and you've just kind of got to wait until the next bend and they turn one direction and you can go around. But inevitably, you'd come home and catch yourself in the mirror and realise you looked like a scarecrow, like with hay poking out everywhere. Not only is it not fun to sit behind a truck, lorry or such, but it's really dangerous. But this is where it turned into, I used to do Wheel of Misfortune. It feels like it's turning a little bit into like what's got your knickers in a knot.
Okay. Panties in a wad, isn't it?
Panties in a wad, yeah.
Okay.
Because UAE were very cranky about this.
Yep.
It was a rider by the name of Felix Gross, who's a German rider, who sat behind the lorry. Now, they said it was regrettable and unacceptable. But here's the kicker. There was a lot of confusion and UAE having to defend themselves. This fella doesn't even ride for them anymore. He's leaving the team, now. So he happened to still have the
he's
kit
still
on.
The kit, okay.
But he's, they're no longer really in charge of him. But they do have an Austrian rider called Felix Großschartner, who everybody thought it was that Felix.
Oh.
Austrian Felix. And so they were saying to UAE, what are you going to do about this? And they were like...
Oh, I see what's happened.
And they said, look, he no longer rides for us, but still we find his actions unacceptable
reprehensible
and regrettable. P.S. He's not on our roster anymore.
They said Felix has shown a gross lack of judgment.
But Felix Großschartner has
great.
not.
He's fine. Gross is gross. Großschartner is excellent.
Is excellent.
According to UAE.
So there you go.
So they're just talking purely on optics.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No knickers in a wad needed.
Okay. Well, look,
I think I mixed my things there. Anyway.
The misfortunate wad. There you go. That's what we could call that one moving forward. But look, Wheel of Misfortune, it's a segment that I love very much, and very sad that it's not... Oh, wait a sec. Hang on.
No, I've just got one off the presses here. Tommy's going to run it in. In you go, big fella.
Okay, Tom's going to come into the studio.
Hold on.
So,
we haven't cut the segment.
Hey, Mercy, you told me in the team meeting that we were done.
No.
It axed it, yeah.
This has just come through.
Here he is.
I was about to... Yeah.
Thank
Tommy,
you. Thank you, Tommy.
Come over here and say hello to
He's
the
our
camera.
studio hand.
There he is.
There he is. He's
Hello,
got
Tommy.
a cool
Welcome.
jersey on too. Give us a wave. There we go.
There you go. Hot off the presses. That's what happens when I get extra staff.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we keep Tom?
Yes. He won't be returning to school next term.
Yeah, apparently it's illegal.
Not on Wednesday afternoons
for
anyway.
now.
Right.
All right.
So let's look at this.
Hot off the
Canadian
press.
cyclist rides nearly 81 miles hands-free.
Okay. So that's in the classic interpretation of hands-free, which means no hands, not that he's speaking on his phone the whole time.
Hold on.
Okay,
This
good.
is a Guinness World Record. Guinness World Records announced Robert Murray earned the title for the greatest distance cycled no hands when he rode 80.95 miles in 5 hours and 37 minutes.
What does it say about the terrain? Sorry, Merksy, hello.
Guys, I tried to get him on the phone, but he couldn't pick it up.
Now,
He didn't have a free hand.
Now, the misfortune in here, I'm guessing, is the fact that Murray said he had to use his hands to massage his legs because they fell asleep during his record
because he was, how do I say this deftly? Because he was clenching so tight to keep his legs... I don't do 80 kilometres, but every now and then you like to take your hands off a brief... And every time I do it, the lower body tenses somewhat.
I love the theory, but I would suggest that if you clench your buttocks,
yes.
I did it here in the chair and I raised up.
Yeah.
If you clench your buttocks while your hands free on a bike.
Sorry, just on camera there. So what happens?
You raise. right?
You're right.
Yeah, you clench your buttocks, you raise. I don't think that makes it easier.
And you ruin your steak too.
He's probably impinging the nerves a little bit.
Right.
You know.
Just to
in his
clarify,
glutes.
Yeah.
80 miles, 128 kilometres, no hands.
Okay, so that's from Brisbane to what, Noosa? Maybe.
It's pretty impressive. Now, he says his record attempt served as a fundraiser for the Alzheimer's Society of Calgary. So we absolutely applaud that. What I found a little bit disturbing, guys, and thank you. This is a brilliant one, Merksy and Tom.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yes.
I love these quotes. Personally, I found it more comfortable position to be in rather than hunched over. I can text, change the song, get anything out of my backpack, all while riding my bike.
Okay. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that's a great endorsement, especially when we talk about the
Yeah,
the
I don't
never-ending
know.
battle
I mean,
between.
I don't know about a cyclist riding
texting.
100 plus kilometres, texting and changing songs, but well, not having access to his brakes because
disliking motorists would be like really
illegal in Australia.
Illegal,
Yeah,
yes.
legal,
I mean, although maybe he just needs to clench his butt a bit.
Raise up, you say. A genuine raise up and down here on the Wheelhouse podcast. And look, outstanding wheel of misfortune.
It is.
I'm so glad the segment
Thank you, team.
survived. A Merksy special, I think.
It is. Because I was worried that the misfortunate part of this week's show was going to be me clenching or talking about steaks and nicks, because we've had quite a wild ride.
Put the T-bone down the nicks. And that one, that would be uncomfortable. That's not the cut to use. If you're out there thinking about a steak, don't use a T-bone.
No, you can't have the bone in there.
You don't want a bone in there. You don't want a Tom bone in there.
You don't want a bone in your nicks, is what you're saying.
No bones in the nicks, okay? We are not endorsing bones in nicks on this Wheelhouse podcast. But thank you, Kate. The music is... That was a meal of misfortune that we thought had been sacked, but apparently made it back for another week because Merksy knows what's best for the show. And I think in this case he was absolutely right yet again.
Yes, I think I've disgraced myself enough for one show, so...
Should we wrap it up on the Wheelhouse podcast, episode 72? Catherine, you haven't disgraced yourself. Your insight, your wisdom is second to none, and I'm very, very privileged to be able to share it, be part of it. I don't share it, but be part of it.
You are the
every week.
Host with the most.
Don't forget 10% off at BikeBug. BikeBug.com. Code is Wheelhouse, all lowercase. Get in there, get some bargains. I have some incredible kit. They don't have steaks just yet, but we're working on that.
But they do have chamois.
They do have, they definitely have the more modern idea of a chamois.
They do,
yeah. The steak.
And chamois cream, so, double up.
Chamois cream! That, every Christmas stocking should have that in it. That's all I'll say there. Like, share, subscribe, tell everyone you know. It's the Wheelhouse, it's the off-season, and it's always a lot of fun. So join the peloton, and we'll see you next time.